It's finally happened. I've seen the fish with the thighs. Welcome back, Classic Crew, to another Hey Jay Hunt's Journal, where I document my entire journey going through Monster Hunter games. It started off with World, it continued in Rise, and now we're in 3 Ultimate as I pledge to fight all 52 monsters in this game. I have now slain over half of them, and there are 25 monsters left that elude me. So today we're going to be talking about all sorts of good things like Plesioth, what's it called, Baleful Giginox, and especially a Jhen Mohran, which I've got a lot of good things to say. But first of all, I have to say thank you to our sponsor, Boxu, this month for supporting the channel with some delicious snacks from Japan. So for those who don't know, this is a premium Japanese snack subscription box that comes directly from Japan every month. And the keyword is premium. So you don't just get your regular old snacks, but you get some good stuff. And this month, I love the theme because it is Pink Valentine. And if we know who may have sent this, if we were in the Monster Hunter world, you know that this would come from my girl Pink Rathian, because it is the Pink Valentine. So every month you get a book. It tells you a little bit about where your snacks come from around Japan, and then you get a little description on all the snacks. And usually you also get a haiku, which I have not been reading the last few times, but here's the haiku. I'm not sure if this is for this box or next box, but it says, "We can't wait for spring and the tasty treats it brings. Let's have a picnic." At least I think that's a haiku. So beautiful artwork. I mean, I just love the design of this. But anyways, your snack is pictured here. You get the word of what it is, and then you get some details as to the flavor, whether it's sweet, salty, or whatever. It says if it's vegetarian or not. It says if it also contains other allergies that you might want to be aware of. For example, common allergens, milk, tree nuts, soy. So super safe to share with your family, friends. And you get a ton of stuff in this Japanese subscription. Look at this. You get all the things a hunter needs to have a successful hunt. Who needs a Valentine when you got Boxu? Because this is the partner that keeps on giving every month. And you never fight with it because it always just gives you snacks. Not saying that people fight when they're in relationships. Definitely don't take that in the wrong way. But anyways, if you're interested, I've got a code for you. I believe it's HeyJ10. It's on the screen. And you can get your own Japanese snack subscription yourself from Boxu and enjoy some goodie snacks for yourself or for your Valentine, whoever they may be. All right, so Plesioth is up first on deck. I have heard so much about this fish and especially its thighs. I was a little bit nervous of Plesioth, so I made sure all my axes were upgraded, especially my fire one. So now I've still got my fire axe, my water axe, and they are upgraded to the most that they can. They are the Kurupex Spander axe and the Splish Splax. I really appreciate Capcom's humor in this game, or the Monster Hunter team. Honestly, I went in, and outside of its thighs, I can't say much about Plesioth. I have heard that this is its best implementation, and I can probably see why, because I had no troubles with him. He was a really good fight, a really fun fight, and I have no complaints on Plesioth. He did not leave a negative impact on me. In fact, he's a little bit derpy when he runs away from you on land with those thighs. I can't get enough of the Plesioth thighs, and I never would have imagined this fish ran the way it did. But just looking at him run, like, I could watch this thing run for a good hour, and I would be happy every day if I did that. So I can't say much about Plesioth other than he was a good fight. In the water, he was like, he projected enough that I could dodge everything. On land, I felt way overpowered on top of him. He was bigger than I thought, and he was a fun fight. So +1 for Plesioth. Then the next one I was able to fight is the Jade Barroth, which I was like, oh, Barroth was easy. How much different can a Jade Barroth be? And I did not realize how much faster the Choo-Choo could be. This thing, when it charges you, it's like it just charges you so much faster. I couldn't believe it. But outside of the charge, it was a pretty comfortable fight. I do like the more snow element of it. I prefer its color. I think I like the Jade Barroth fight more than the regular Barroth. Just because of the snow, though. I prefer snow over mud. And then that happened 2 streams ago, and pretty much for the rest of the stream, I was busy trying to build my sand ship. So I spent most of my hunts after the Jade Barroth fighting Rathians and Barroths, so I could build a ship to take on Jhen Mohran. And man, even after killing so many Rathians and Barroth, I still can't make armor. This game is so rough. I don't even know why I bothered to put an armor counter. I've been putting 40 plus hours into this game so far, and I only have 1 armor set to talk about. It's not going to go higher than 5 by the time I finish this game, I think. The Jhen Mohran fight, though, so I started the next stream with all the parts I need to do that, and I have to say, hands down, the best siege fight I have ever... I didn't even know it was going to be a siege fight, but this is how you do a siege fight. So out of all the siege fights I've had, so this one is better than all the world fights, all of the rise fights, anything that is siege, just so much better. I love that it almost feels like a high-speed chase where you're going down the desert on your ship. It's coming up on the either side, and you have to use all of this weaponry. I went in completely not knowing what to do. Chat told me it would be a little bit confusing. I was like, chat, don't tell me. I don't want to know. And I went out there and I discovered how to use, you've got your ballistas. You've got the ballista with the wires to like anchor it down. You got the cannons. You got a huge bong. You got a Dragonator. Am I missing anything else? Oh yeah, you can jump on it and use your axe. It was just such a good balance of I'm using the tools, and it's a whale. It's massive. It felt like a proper hunt. Outside of, let me just finish before I compare it to the siege. So honestly, did not know what I was doing at all. I didn't know what was doing damage. I didn't even really know where to hit it. Like I was trying to like bounce my axe off its tusk at one point. Then I put a barrel bomb on it. I don't even know if I heard it, but eventually I made it to phase 2 where your ship is kind of like crashed, and then the Jhen Mohran is out in the distance approaching me. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta like go out and meet it before it comes and attacks my ship. And I'm just going out there and I'm like wailing on a whale. I love it. So I'm wailing on this whale and I just don't know what's going on. I just know that it's moving slowly like towards my ship. I'm like, no, don't hit my ship, don't hit my ship. And I'm just like, because I'm bouncing a little bit and also hitting it. And then he got close to my ship and I'm freaking out because I'm like, this whale is going to destroy my ship. So I run back. I was like, like I can see the Dragonator is pointing at it now. So I'm like, oh, I can use the Dragonator. So I like slap that button. We Dragonator it. The proof of a hero takes off. I was not expecting that. I'm like, oh my god, is this what's supposed to happening? And I'm just like running out. I'm literally feeling like this. Like I'm running, flailing my axe everywhere, not knowing what I'm doing, hitting his toes. I'm just like on the toes. It was chaos. It was madness. And I lost because he blew up my ship. I didn't even know that could happen. So I went back in. I'm like, okay, let's be a little bit smarter. Let's go a little bit more strategic in what I'm doing. So I was using the cannons more, the ballista more. I learned that the bong is to avoid him from hitting the ship. I learned that the ship has health that you have to avoid. So you look in your status to see how damaged your ship is. I had pre-triggered the Dragonator the first time. So this time I knew to wait. And as he was coming towards the front of the bow, I just hit the Dragonator on him. It was so satisfying. And I would go on him, smack him with the axe a few times. I mined a few scales off of him. And then when it came to phase 2, this is where I was like a lot more aggressive, using all the cannons, all the ballista, everything I could, running out, hitting his toes as much as I could, hitting the Dragonator, hitting the bong. And I was just doing so much damage. Proof of a hero was going off. And the timer was ticking. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just wailing on him. And I'm like, oh, he's going to destroy my ship. But I'm literally like screaming. It was so freaking intense, at least for me. And then the timer went out. I think the timer went out. And then it's like, you have repelled Jhen Mohran. And I was like, oh, did I win? Did I win? Did I fail? Did I win? What happened? And it was just so intense because I was like, he was flopping. I was like falling on the ground. I'm like, no, I need to do more damage. I need to do more damage. I got a second like Dragonator on the second turn. So I got to Dragonator him twice in phase 2. And man, it was so intense, but it was so fun. I think I was grinning ear to ear. So in comparison, if I think of my other siege fights, my first siege fight ever was Zorah Magdaros. And I was reflecting on like how that one felt. And the thing is, I didn't feel like a hunter when I was fighting Zorah Magdaros. I felt like Zorah Magdaros wasn't threatening. It felt like a poor old turtle that's just trying to go to its room and you're just attacking it. And it feels really mean. And I don't know, Jhen Mohran feels a little bit more like a proper prey. Like it feels young, it's moving, it's big, and it could be an old thing too that you're hunting, but because I think of its speed and its movement, it feels like it has more fight to it. So it's more satisfying to hunt it. What else did we do with siege weapons? The earlier one that we did in 3U, the Sideus, that too was just an old soft fish just moving along, and I didn't feel good beating on that either. Going back to World, Fatalis, I've already shared my thoughts on Fatalis, how, that was definitely intense, but the siege elements, I don't know. I don't think, the intensity was different. It didn't feel like you were on Fatalis's level when you fought him. It just felt like overwhelming odds. Yeah, that's the difference. Whereas Jhen Mohran, it felt like, oh, this is achievable. This is doable. This is like, it's more like it's above our challenge level, but we can do it. Whereas Fatalis is like, why am I here fighting this god, basically? Thinking of other siege weapons that come to mind, siege fights, the ones in Rise are just, I think the key element of a good siege fight is the speed, and the fact that with Jhen Mohran you're on a ship that is moving, and the fact that he is moving creates a sense of dynamic intensity that just isn't present in the other fights. And I think that's really what makes this feel so much more satisfying, is the speed. So we need to be moving on siege things, more ships. Give me some airships. Like, imagine, okay, the Fatalis fight, imagine if we're on an airship and we're on our way to Castle, I forget the name of the castle, and you have to, Fatalis is coming after you, you're on an airship, and imagine you have to take down, like, you have to repel him because he's trying to take you down before you get to his home base, and you're using all the weapons on the ship to, like, hurt Fatalis, and by the end he takes down your ship, which lands you on the castle, and that's where you take off, that's where you go on with the fight like it did in World. I think that would create a more dynamic and intense intro than just like this big fat dragon literally just sitting there in his castle and you just like, oh my god. Yeah, I think that would work a lot better. So anyways, I love Jhen Mohran. I hope we have more. I hope that's not the best siege fight ever, because I want more of that. So we followed that up with, unfortunately, a baleful Giginox, and I was ready to give Giginox another chance because I had a terrible experience with my first Giginox, and I think it was because of the longsword. I don't remember if it was Giginox that made me lose the longsword, but whatever. This was the first time I was coming with a switch axe. I was like, okay, maybe all my gripes with Giginox are going to be fixed because I have a switch axe. It's not poison. Let's do this. I know what I'm doing. Oh my god, this fight was horrible. This monster is terrible. For all of you who say you love Giginox, I don't understand you. Kazu is so much better. Giginox is constantly hopping. You go here, it hops, it shoulder checks you. When it lands, the air pressure pushes you away. You're about to hit it, it jumps away. It shoots electricity, it bombs electricity. It sucks you from the air. It just constantly is doing damage or interrupting you and running away from you. It was just not a pleasant fight. I did not like it. It was definitely better with the switch axe than with the longsword, but man, it just moves so much. And really, I don't have much more to say. It's just so annoying because he's always on the move. And I don't know if it's because I need to build a strategy where I immobilize him more, but did not like that fight. But anyways, he's off the list. And then we got the urgency quest to fight the first high rank Rathalos. And this fight was super hard, probably because of my fault. I forgot to eat, so I didn't get any of my skills unlocked. I didn't get my health bonus. And I think I was wearing armor that is weak to fire, because the biggest challenge was my health on this fight. And I was taking damage like crazy. For every little mistake, my health would just be like, boom, half of it gone. And that was really tough. So I was down to 2 carts. I had gone through all of my health items, and Rathalos was not showing sign of limping. And I was like, oh no, this is not going to go well. I did have a water axe on my side, so I really did not want to do this fight again. And it was getting so tense. And then he was limping, but I had no healing items. I was 2 carts in, and I was like asking the kids to heal me. And oh man, was it intense. And I love these, like, this is how you enjoy fights in Monster Hunter, that intensity. I love that. But man, it was a close one. I was getting more cautious at the end of like, oh, let's hit it. Let's do a hit. Let's run away. The worst thing about this fight is how often Rathalos flies away. Luckily, I was fighting him in his nest, so he'd fly away, I'd grab his egg, and I'd just wait there until he came back. But man, he flew away so many times. It was just really boring to wait for him to come back. So didn't like that part. Killed him anyways, opened up 8-star quest, the second last star rank in high rank. And what's on the menu now is a lot of high rank old friends. There are no new monsters, so my pledge is not going to advance very fast. I've got Laggy on deck, Diablos, Nibblesnarf, Barioth, Acnector, Uragan, Duram, Boros, all of these monsters I've hunted before. but I gotta hunt them again in high rank. I gotta get some armor off these things. Gotta upgrade my axe before I can see what the other 25 monsters are. Honestly, I can't believe there's still 25 monsters hiding in this game somewhere. But we've got a grind fest ahead of ourselves. Not sure if I'm going to take all these high rank high rank versions of these monsters solo first, or if I'm just going to go at it in multiplayer. But I am going to need to do some multiplayer grinding just to get through this, so that it doesn't take me another month before I can start knocking monsters off my list. So the grind begins. So I might see you in a week, I might see you in 2 weeks, but I got a lot of slaying to do and a lot of armor building to do so that I'm not getting pounded on like Rathalos just did. So I'll see you on the next journal or the next stream, and until next time, keep it classy. Subscribe.